A version of you exists, concealed under layers of apprehension, self-skepticism, and reluctance. And this version is more resilient than any challenge existence might present. It's simply that you've not yet become entirely acquainted with this aspect of yourself. Society has conditioned us to seek external affirmation, to pursue might through quantity, position, or endorsement. However, the Stoics understood something we have let slip from our memory. Genuine strength is not boisterous. It requires no spotlight. It resides silently within, steadfast and unwavering. You are not delicate, you are not shattered, and you are certainly not finished. This message is not intended to offer solace. Its purpose is to awaken you, to recall to your mind what already lies within. For the reality is, your fortitude surpasses your own estimation, and the moment has come for you to begin acting in accordance with this. First, consider the falsehood you have been fed. We have been deceived, perhaps inconspicuously, yet persistently. Society suggests that strength manifests as supremacy, as self-assurance without any flaws. It implies that if you aren't beaming, victorious, or holding your head high, you are consequently unsuccessful, feeble, and insufficient. Yet, the Stoics never characterized strength in such a manner. Marcus Aurelius, an individual who guided an empire amidst pestilence, conflict, and treachery, never asserted he had all the answers. He recorded in his journal, on a daily basis, his battles with wrath, with weariness, with his own psyche. He penned the words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Understand this, and you shall discover fortitude." Authentic strength does not originate from feigning well-being. It arises from confronting actuality as it exists, and nonetheless opting to behave with moral uprightness. To rise when your inclination is to surrender. To react with lucidity when internal turmoil prevails. Such fortitude, the unseen, unyielding type, is the essence of Stoicism, and it commences when you cease pursuing validation and begin to construct an unwavering internal foundation. Second point, fortitude is cultivated, not discovered. Every one of us desires to perceive ourselves as strong, yet no one wishes to undergo the process of becoming strong. This is because developing strength is arduous. It involves intentionally entering states of unease. It requires facing your own self-importance, your idleness, your rationalizations. It signifies abandoning the illusion that existence will eventually become less challenging. Seneca once remarked, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." In contemporary existence, we flee from unease as though it were a foe. However, Stoicism instructs us that discomfort is the crucible, and should you evade it, you evade your own capabilities. Strength is not acquired through reading. It is attained through lived experience. This implies that even when fatigued, you persist in appearing. When others misinterpret you, you remain centered. When existence seems unjust, as it inevitably will, you react with composure rather than grievance. For fortitude is not made apparent in tranquil seas. It is disclosed amidst the tempest. And if you can remain steadfast when existence becomes burdensome, then you are not merely feigning strength. You genuinely possess it. Third point, you have already endured greater hardships. Inhale deeply. Now, recall an experience. Revisit that specific instance in your past, the sorrow, the disloyalty, the setback, the bereavement, when you believed, "I cannot overcome this." Now, observe your present self. Perhaps you are still in the process of recovery. Perhaps circumstances are not ideal. Yet, the crucial fact remains. You persist, you continue to breathe, to contemplate, to develop. The error many individuals commit is overlooking their own capacity to recover. They recall the suffering, but neglect the strength required to bear it. You have overcome challenges that proved insurmountable for others, and your survival was not a matter of fortune. You persevered because an element within you, a silent, robust, inconspicuous aspect, opted for endurance. Epictetus stated, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." Your battle marks are not indicators of frailty. They serve as testimony to your fortitude, confirmation that you have previously achieved the seemingly unachievable. Therefore, why would you ever question your capacity to confront future challenges? You have already traversed flames. Now is the moment to proceed as one who has done so. Fourth point, the conflict resides within. The majority of individuals perceive their adversary to be external factors: the world, their occupation, their relatives, their history, their financial status. However, the Stoics comprehended a more profound truth. The actual antagonist is internal. It is the inner monologue that advises against effort, that murmurs of impending failure, that thrives on disgrace, apprehension, and remorse, and cloaks itself in rationality. Yet that internal narrative is not veracity. It is ingrained custom. You have heeded it for such an extended period that you confuse it with your own thoughts, but it is distinct. It is the remnant of time passed in self-skepticism, enduring critique, or diminishing your presence for the sake of security. You cannot command external circumstances, but you can determine whether to heed that inner voice or transcend its influence. Stoicism equips you to prevail in that inner conflict, not by eliminating apprehension, but by ceasing to submit to it, not by feigning fearlessness, but by performing necessary actions even amidst fear, for that constitutes genuine bravery. And bravery, when exercised regularly, transforms into fortitude. Fifth point, the way ahead. Consequently, what comes next? Now, you advance not with haughtiness, but with serene conviction. The Stoic journey is not concerned with flawlessness. It centers on dedication. It involves upholding your principles, even when challenging, particularly when challenging. It is not necessary for you to possess every solution. An impeccable strategy is not required. You merely need to progress with distinct, individual steps towards self-control, lucidity, and bravery. There will be days when you perceive yourself as feeble. That is acceptable. On certain days, you will stumble. That too is acceptable. The significant thing is your persistent return to the fundamental reality. Your fortitude surpasses your own estimation. And each instance you operate from that core understanding, when you articulate the truth rather than remaining quiet, when you opt for self-mastery over capitulation, when you ascend rather than lament, you are reaffirming it to yourself repeatedly. Your inherent strength is greater than you realize. This is not a result of an effortless existence, but because you have already endured circumstances that would have overwhelmed many others. There is no necessity for you to demonstrate your value to any other person. Stoicism instructs that authentic fortitude is understated. It is discovered in our demeanor, our reactions when unobserved, and our preference for conviction over ease. Each day you awaken and confront the world, notwithstanding your uncertainties, that is an act of strength. Every instance you withstand disorder and opt for self-regulation, that embodies power. Therefore, do not permit your thoughts to persuade you of your frailty. Do not allow apprehension to script the narrative of your identity. Recall that fortitude is not invariably vociferous. At times, it is simply the resolve not to shatter. And if you maintain your path with self-control, with virtue, with lucidity, you will come to understand that you have consistently possessed all necessary attributes.